Team USA would take into this knockout phase, but they are here after all, and they take on a first-timer in Canada in a rematch of hockey, rematch of the World Series in USA against Canada. Let's go down to the field. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Team USA manager Mark DeRosa admits his club entered the Italy game overly confident and got a huge wake-up call. Aaron Judge equated the loss to getting kicked in the mouth. Tonight, after a tumultuous 48 hours, we will see how the U.S. responds. Bryce Harper, Alex Bregman, and Brice Turang all are back in the lineup. Pete Crow-Armstrong, coming off his two-homer game, is in there as well. And DeRosa has a fresh bullpen bolstered by the additions of 3 new relievers. The Canadian roster, like Italy's, is full of major leaguers. But the talent advantage, again, belongs to the U.S. Joe?
All right, Kenny, we asked Mark DeRosa a couple hours ago to describe what these last few days have been like for him, and he thought about it for a second, and then he said, dark, losing that game. And then he said, I never want to be the reason for any of the commotion that followed that. From there, he said he watched Italy beat Mexico, and the word that came to mind was thankful. He felt like he had a new lease on life for his club with all their dreams still in front of him, and of course all would be forgotten if they can still go into Miami and win it all. The lineup that he'll send up there as the U.S. is the road team as the 2 seed coming out of their pool will look like this. Bobby Witt Jr. leads off. Bryce Harper's back in the lineup. Judge, then Schwarber. Alex Bregman returns into the lineup as well. Roman Anthony's in left field hitting 6th. Cal Raleigh does the catching with Brice Turang at second base. And Pete Crow-Armstrong earned his way into the lineup with a 2-home-run game against Italy. Michael Soroka, one-time top prospect of the Atlanta Braves, that got to the big leagues, John, and was awesome. Injury after injury, though, and he's had to work his way back to this stage, pitching in the WBC for the first time this year.
Well, you know, he's fired up to pitch for his home country, and he's more fired up that he's healthier to be able to pitch. He's got 5-6 different ways to get you out. But I think for Team USA, they're going to be aggressive, try to pound strikes, get score early.
Bobby Witt Jr. leads things off and takes strike 1. It's been interesting with this offense. You've had the explosions that you would expect when you see these names, but you've also had long stretches where they've been silent. You know, the win against Mexico, all 5 runs came in 1 inning. Didn't score until the 6th against Italy. By the time they racked up the 6 runs, it was too little too late. And Mark DeRosa said he feels like the at-bat quality's been good. They just haven't strung together the rallies like you'd expect.
Yeah, and part of that is going to be, again, you know, you talk about they're with their team, they start spring training, and then they leave their team and they come here and expected not to miss a beat, right? And that's not always the case. You get out of rhythm, and look, they know they got to be at their best right now to advance.
Well, look, so much of any part of the schedule is when you play a team, how hot they are. And especially this time of year, that's so volatile, whether you're locked in or not.
No, there's so many things that go in to get ready for the season. They know it's a long season. The hitters go through process in their batting practice and in their game. You know, look, when they're at their team, I mean, he was 6 for 15 with the Royals in spring training. Well, he hasn't missed a beat. He's .357 in this tournament, and he's a special player in Bobby Witt. But not everybody's going to be able to be at their best when it matters the most, which right now it matters the most.
Win and advance to the semifinals, likely to take on the Dominican Republic, which is off to a good start against Korea in the first of the quarterfinals. Japan working on the other side of the bracket. Bobby Witt Jr., superstar of the Royals, has put on a show so far here in Houston. On another 2-2 from Soroka, fouls it back. True 5-tool player, and it seems like you only have to watch him for a night or two to see all 5 of those show up. You go back to the Mexico game on Monday, he had the 2 doubles, he had 2 diving plays, showed off his arm. And he's worked a long at bat to start this game. On the 8th pitch from Soroka, Witt takes ball 3. Soroka pitched the first game of the WBC for Canada. A run over 3 innings for Ernie Witt's club. And a win against Colombia. Boy, that is one impressive walk right there, showing yet another dimension of his game.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of dimensions, and one of them's his legs too. And we'll see how aggressive they're going to be in this first inning with the running game, knowing you got studs coming up behind you, and one of them being Bryce Harper,
who was not in the lineup in the loss against Italy. He was out. Bregman was out. Bryce Turang was out, and that was one of the things that Mark DeRosa took some heat for, not having his best lineup in the game, in a game that they needed the win to ensure advancing. Harper with a big rip and a miss. And both things can be true. It can be true that he could have had a better lineup in there, but it also can be true that it shouldn't have mattered.
No, not at all. That the lineup has a plethora of options, and everybody deserves an opportunity to play. At this point now, when you get to this round, then those options get limited. No matter how good you are, you're going to go with what you think is the hottest guy up there and or the best lineup to give you a chance to win it all. That's the tough part of this tournament because of the lack of playing time for certain guys.
Harper drills the ball straight away center field. Clark to the track at the wall. He's got it. Denzel Clark goes to a part of the park that is proven to just kill well-hit balls. Talking with guys around the cage today, several mentioned how they feel like either they or their buddies have crushed balls out there, but they just haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is that's the one area, if you're a pitcher, you want them to hit the ball too. And this guy in center field, by the way, has already had highlight catches in a short period of time.
Brings up Aaron Judge, and he takes a ball. Yeah, that's Denzel Clark out there, who elite defensively for the A's. Graded out as one of the best defenders in baseball in a cumulative statistic, even though he was only up for like 2 months. Judge is ahead 2-0. Now, Judge, one of the guys most pleased with a new lease on life here, getting a chance to continue playing. It was his strikeout that ended the game against Italy. Two home runs in this WBC for the Yankee captain. Cranks this one to left field, and a base hit that'll scoot to the wall. Witt flies for third. A juggle from Casey. He's in easily. A ringing double from Aaron Judge. And the U.S. in business quickly.
Well, that's what they needed, and being the visitors, they're going to be given that opportunity to jump on first. Of course, against Team Italy, it was the opposite. They were down 8-0 before their offense clicked in and gave them 6 runs and a chance to tie the game. But this is a recipe for success when you're waiting to see your fate, and then you realize that 3-1's not too shabby, but now you're in the tournament to win it all. Got to score some runs when those guys get on base.
How about Ernie Witt pulling the infield in here with 1 gone in the first inning? Schwarber bounces it off Naylor. The only play will be at first. Julian takes it himself. Bobby Witt scores the first run of the night. Kyle Schwarber jumps on the first pitch, drives in the first run. Ernie Witt, who has guided Canada to its first trip to the quarterfinals. You got a bunch of baseball lifers over in that Canadian dugout. Ernie Witt has managed every World Baseball Classic for Team Canada. Bregman fouls it back. He's the only manager of any country that can say that. An event that goes back to 2006. An old teammate of yours,
yeah,
with the 1990 Braves.
Yeah, Ernie Witt. We talked to him today, and it seems like this whole tournament's filled with a lot of catchers at the helm and catchers on the coaching staff.
A pop fly off of the bat of Bregman into shallow right field. Julian is there, and that'll do it for the U.S. But a much-needed good start for the Americans. Schwarber drives in Witt, and it's 1-0 before Canada comes to bat. This group, Naylor and O'Neill, have not done a whole lot in this World Baseball Classic. It's been Owen Casey of the Miami Marlins and Abraham Toro trying to make the Kansas City Royals, who have carried things for the offense. Logan Webb, who started the first game of the World Baseball Classic for the Americans. Americans, pours in a strike, and he gave up a home run to the first hitter of that game against Brazil, which happened to be Manny Ramirez's son. From there, he went 12 up and 12 down, and this is one of the more underrated pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, he throws strikes. He changed speeds. He's got the unique sinker. His ability to just break the ball in different ways in different lanes makes him a ground ball machine. The infield should love playing behind him.
Home with the 1-1 pitch to Lopez, and there is a bouncer that bounds right over Bregman into left field. Otto Lopez starts things with a single for Canada.
Can I give you a little perspective between these two lineups?
Yeah.
All right. We talked about this lineup and for the American team. 294 home runs last year in this lineup. Canada, 72. About a 4-to-1 ratio. So that's the difference. But when you execute, you put the ball in play, you get timely runs and timely pitching, you can make that look like it's not that important.
Josh Naylor comes up here, the biggest name for Team Canada, and out of those 74 home runs, he had 20 of them last year, split between Arizona and Seattle. And he also, John, had 30 stolen bases in 32 tries, even though he's the second slowest runner in the majors.
Yeah, you could have given me 250 guesses on how many stolen bases he had. I'd have started real low and probably wouldn't have ever gotten to 30.
It was something. He had 28 in a row at one point. Only guy that's a slower runner, Alejandro Kirk. And Naylor still found a way to be a stolen base fiend. 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. And not just that. I mean, this guy had a clear intensity and edge that helped get the Mariners right to the brink of the World Series.
Yeah, he was exactly what they needed. And he proved to really get them so close to getting to the World Series.
He'll return to Seattle, which seemed as that postseason went on and he hit 340 for him like it had to happen. They signed him to a 5-year contract. And a guy that missed the 2023 WBC while he was recovering from almost a career-ending leg injury. He played as a 20-year-old in 2017, but now he comes back around almost a decade later. He's the captain for Team Canada. Webb brings him a 1-2. He reaches out and pops it down the left field line. Long way to go for Alex Bregman, who gets there in foul ground. Back to first goes Lopez. The way he was shifted over, there was a mile to cover.
That's such a good play for Bregman. Of course, he's played a lot of games here with the Astros, so he knows the angles and he knows the distances that he has to cover.
So that's the first out of the ball game, and here comes Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill gets buzzed by that high fastball. O'Neill, who has a 31 home run season on his resume with the Red Sox 2 years ago, went to Baltimore and missed a lot of last season because of injuries. And that's been the story. Injuries, but when healthy, dangerous power hitter. And says that he feels as healthy as he's been in years going into his second with Baltimore. Son of the one-time Mr. Canada bodybuilder. Can squat 585 pounds himself. 2-0 from Webb. O'Neill hits it on the ground, left side and through. 2 on for Canada in this first inning.
Hit it in the hole that wasn't Bobby Witt. If he can't get to it, I'm not so sure anybody can get to it.
Boy, he proved that the other night. That's a pretty similar look to the diving plays that he made not one of, but 2 of against Mexico. And in this WBC for Canada, it's not been Naylor and it's not been O'Neill. It's been this guy right here, Owen Casey, one of the top prospects in baseball. 23 years old, debuted for the Chicago Cubs late last year. Yeah, was excited this offseason, ready to make his case to make the Cubs, and then he got a call that he'd been traded to the Marlins. And at first he's like, oh no, but then he started to think about it and thought, well, my path is clear. This is probably the opening day right fielder in Miami.
Yeah, sometimes I can certainly speak to a trade that gave me an opportunity to pitch early with the Atlanta Braves. Sometimes you need that break, and that could be the very trade that sets this man's career in the right direction.
Same thing for you too, where like he's playing for the Cubs, Wrigley Field, you're playing for your hometown team.
I was
Get traded from there.
I was like, oh no, not the Atlanta Braves. Come on.
How long before you saw the light?
Well, it took a little minute because, you know, they had not had a lot of success and they had losing 100 games. And then I realized, well, shoot, the pitching staff that they had was an older pitching staff. They were transitioning. And then I'm sure much like him, he's like, I got a great chance to get in there quicker.
Behind 1-2 here. 2 aboard with 1 away. Waves and misses. That's strike 3 and 2 gone in the first.
Well, there's that changeup. He's got great arm action on his sinker, great arm action on his breaking ball, and they don't know the difference. And that ball just never gets there. You've got to have the same action to a hitter's eyes that speaks like it's a fastball, but the grip and the change of speeds misses the barrel of the bat.
2 on 2 out. Abraham Toro, another one of the stars of this classic for Canada. 3 for 5 with a home run against Cuba in the clinching game on Wednesday, and a .467 average for the tournament. Started his career here in Houston, but he's been all over the place the last few years. He's in camp with Kansas City, and if he makes the Royals, it'll be his 6th team the last 6 years. Quickly 0-2. Webb with a chance to get out of this first inning jam. Logan Webb going into his 8th season in San Francisco, an all-star twice. One of the top workhorses in baseball in a day and age where guys don't go as deep as they once did. He's led the league in innings 3 consecutive years. Hasn't missed a start in the last 4 years. You talk about being able to count on a guy. Logan Webb is that man. He winds up getting back-to-back strikeouts after the 2 singles, and the U.S. leads after 1. U.S. looking for a 5th consecutive win head-to-head against Canada. Only win for the Canadians in this head-to-head series back in 2006, the very first World Baseball Classic. They've reached the quarterfinals for the first time. It's the first time that they've not been in the same pool as Team USA, and so the Americans have always stood in their way before this stage. Beat Puerto Rico and Cuba to win Pool A. Roman Anthony leads off this second, takes the ball. Anthony, the young star of the Boston Red Sox, who signed a long-term contract just a couple of months into his time in the big leagues last year. And it was on fire, and it looked like maybe carrying the Red Sox to the playoffs before he injured his oblique in early September. That ended his season. Red Sox fell a little bit short. His future certainly bright. And I think the Red Sox, too, should be competitive, should be right in it this year. Bounce it down to first, nail it to the bag for the first out.
Well, Mr. Soroka, you could tell is a little pumped up. His average fastball's up about almost 2 miles per hour from where he was last year. So he knows the task. Everybody who gets that lineup card against the USA team, they go, I'm ready for this challenge. Well, you better be.
Yeah. We saw with Michael Lorenzen the other night. He said he tried to embrace that challenge, and he was awesome pitching into the 5th inning. Aaron Nola followed that with a gem of his own as Italy crushed Mexico. Set up a matchup with Puerto Rico here tomorrow in the other quarterfinal. The big dumper, Cal Raleigh, pops it up, foul ground. Naylor's over with Toro, and Naylor's got it. 2 away. That's Josh's brother, Bo, catcher for the Guardians, over there making the grab. It does seem like this is as deep of a tournament as there's been when you see teams like Italy and Canada putting together full rosters of major league players. that can beat you on any night.
Yeah, they definitely over time more awareness and development.
Ball on Bryce Terang.
And I should say willingness. You got to have the players willing to play in these events if it's truly going to give you the best chance to move forward. You can't be handcuffed by the players. And we know there's all kinds of rules and limitations based on where they're coming from and what the team expects. That's the hard part of navigating when you're managing these kind of teams in this kind of tournament.
And it's a catch-22 because the better your roster, the more those restraints you're going to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. I know why we're doing it. I know it's the promotion on the development for all these countries to expose the great players and the players in the different countries to enhance their baseball program. And every time the Team USA puts a roster together, they're going to be one of the favorites. And yet they have one championship. That's why it's important for them to get another one.
That was in 2017. They fell to Japan in the championship game in 2023. Ken Griffey Jr. trying to get a good shot at Bryce Terang. And this team's stacked. The expectation was that they'd win it all. Anything short of that, disappointment. Certainly what would have been an unthinkable exit after pool play. Without a little bit of help from Italy on Wednesday. Fresh life. Now what do they do with it? Off to a 1-0 lead over Canada. And Bryce Terang, who has made as good a case for himself as any player on this roster as this WBC's gone on. Pretty much everybody else already has a bold headline in their resume. This guy's still making his name for the Milwaukee Brewers. It certainly has grown his week plus with Team USA. Another payoff to Terang. Breaks in for strike 3, and Michael Soroka's got a 1-2-3 second. Mark DeRosa had his eyes on Webb back in his first WBC as the manager in 2023. Finally able to convince him here in 2026. The decision actually happened aboard the tour bus of the country music artist Ernest. So, yeah, how about that? It was Ernest, Pat McAfee, David Ross, the former Cubs manager who was on this Team USA staff, and Logan Webb. And Mark DeRosa got wind that Ross was going to be on this bus with Webb, and he said, you got to use this as your chance to talk him into it. He's on the fence. He's thinking about it. You got to push him over the edge. And so Ross got the other guys involved. He told Ernest, he told McAfee, we got to get this guy to play for Team USA. McAfee shows up in a Team USA hat. They're all in on it. Webb's like, okay, why are these guys dressed up like this? And they basically said to him, come on, buddy, do it for USA. Do it for America. And he said, okay, I'm in. And they started blasting America the Beautiful, Ray Charles rendition of America the Beautiful, playing over the bus speakers like a scene out of a movie as he committed to pitch for his country. Thanks, Ernest.
Yeah. All on a tour bus, huh?
Uh-huh. Went into the concert. Rest is history. Tyler Black leading off this inning for Canada, takes down and away 2-2. And DeRosa saying that he's had his eye on Webb for a long time. He thinks that Webb is the kind of pitcher you want in this tournament, known for his efficiency, and you have these pitch limits. So you got a guy like Webb, he's going to get a lot deeper into the game than your average pitcher. He strikes out Black, his 3rd consecutive K.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In an era where there's max velocity and a lot of foul balls and a lot of pitches around the zone, this is a guy more reliable in the zone and can get you a lot of quick outs on the ground. And I think for Team USA, for him, now that he can go about 70 pitches, that would help their bullpen shorten the game.
One gone in this second. Here is Bo Naylor. He takes ball 1. The thing with Webb has always been about the ground balls. It's always been about getting deep into games. Last year, he added the strikeouts to that whole story as well. Led the league in strikeouts and had the biggest jump in strikeout rate of any pitcher in baseball. And he said a lot of that just had to do with a shift in philosophy when he got to 2 strikes. Yeah, still try to be efficient and get quick outs, but when you get to 2 strikes, and Justin Verlander had a big hand in encouraging him to shift this, but it's okay to look for a put-away pitch. 3-0 on Naylor. Going into his 4th season as the Guardians catcher. Guardians had that huge run last year to win the division, win 20 of their last 25 games, take it from the Tigers, and Naylor had a huge part of that. This is his hottest stretch probably in the big leagues in September there. But he swats this one the other way for a base hit. A 1-out single for Bo Naylor.
And again, just to reiterate, guys in this format are going to be, this is nothing, spring training games are nowhere close to this, right? The pressure, the anxiety, all the things. So it's either going to lock you in or exasperate where you're at, meaning my swing is a mess. I'm not really tied to my mechanics. So I actually was surprised by more answers that I got talking to position players on how helpful this actually is for them, instead of it being more hurtful if you're not in the right place in your, in your hitting.
Guys talk about spring training being too long. It's monotonous. This is anything but that. Denzel Clark made a nice defensive play already. Takes a strike, and it's 0-2. The intensity of these games, a much appreciated shift from the usual grind of spring training.
There's that comeback sinker that he's so famous for, and then what he can do, he can break a ball off of that, his breaking ball, right off of that point he just threw it.
There it is, pounded into the ground with Clark speeded to be tough to get the out at second, and that's all. Well, fielder's choice and 2 away.
I say it all the time during the season, not everybody is in this mix of a pitcher like Webb. But when you get the hitter to remember where the last pitch was and you put pressure on that last pitch height or location, the hitter virtually has no chance. But because we're in a kind of high velocity, high spin rate, and maybe not an accuracy driven pitchers, that hitter gets a chance to hit more mistakes than he should.
Edward Julien, runner at first, 2 away, 1-0 game. Julien smacks one to short, and there's Bobby Witt to pick it off. More stellar defense from the U.S. shortstop.
What was it about Logan Webb that made you want him to be on this team so badly?
Yeah, he's a grinder. He's one of the best in the game, and he's efficient. In a pitch count tournament like this, get him out there, give us some length. He looks really good. A couple ground balls with eyes in the first, and Naylor had a nice shot on a 3-1 count, but other than that, he looks fine.
What's it going to take for your offense to get to Soroka?
Yeah, it usually takes one thing to explode there in the first. Bobby works an unbelievable walk. Judgy hits a double, and we're able to cash in one. It'll take a lot more of the same.
All right, you've taken a lot of criticism the last 48 hours. Is there anything, Mark, you would like people to know just about the way you approach this job?
I have an undying passion for it and an undying belief in every guy in this roster. I don't think there's an A and a B. I think they're all A's.
All right, Mark, thanks very much.
All right, Kenny. Pico Armstrong, one of those A's, has the base hit to open this 3rd inning.
And to that last point, when everybody wants to cherry pick things in this tournament, which are so unfair, the guys that came into the lineup that were thought of as maybe not a A, Will Smith, 2 for 4. Pete Crow Armstrong, 2 home runs. Gunnar Henderson, 5 for 10 in the WBC. And Goldie had a base hit when he was starting for Harper. So people don't really know what they're talking about when they have cherry pick situations from the outside looking in.
Bobby Witt, who walked and scored the game's only run, is back up there. Soroka to Witt with a 1-0. That's outside ball 2. Kenny?
Joe, if the U.S. had just beaten Italy, none of the questions that arose would have even surfaced. No one would have cared that DeRosa said the team already punched its ticket to the quarterfinals. No one would have debated his lineups or his in-game decisions. No one would have viewed the extended bonding session they had after the Mexico game as anything but positive. The problem was the U.S. didn't win, and all of those things together, combined with DeRosa admitting later that the team was overly confident, it just amounted to a bad look.
And just in the same way, the only way this is going to be a successful tournament for Team USA was going to be to win the whole thing. The only way for that to all go away will be if they still figure out a way to go on to Miami and win the whole thing. Not going to be easy tonight against Canada. Certainly won't be easy in a semifinal potential matchup with the Dominican Republic, which leads 7-0 against Korea. And then Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Japan, all options in the championship game. Throw to second is just in time to get Pete Crow Armstrong as Otto Lopez makes a nice play.
Yeah, the only play here would have been, thankfully, a runner on so he could get him out at second. He would never have thrown out Bobby Witt Jr.
No, one of the guys that came off of the bench in the loss against Italy, and Mark DeRosa said gave him the side eye for not putting him in the lineup, is up there here. Bryce Harper hammered a ball to center field his first time. That was caught in front of the wall. Bryce is one of those guys who's in that typically spring stage of trying to find his swing. And he said the only way really to find it is to be in there and get your swings in. So that was part of his disappointment in not playing on Tuesday. He tried to make up for it on the off day yesterday. He hit with 2 separate groups during batting practice, a couple BP sessions. He tries to unlock things. Normally not a big deal right now. You're thinking I still got 2 weeks to get ready for opening day. But in this case, my country needs me to figure it out, because if we lose, we're done. Down 0-2. Here comes Soroka after a check over to first on Witt. Judge waits on deck. U.S. with a run in the first inning. Taking advantage of a leadoff walk from Witt. And a double from Judge. Way up there. Get your ground rules sheet out. Aldo Lopez in shallow center field lets it drop. And did so on purpose to trade runners. But Harper at first instead of Witt.
It's actually a really good play unless something crazy happens and you throw it away because you chase the speed.
And so Harper's aboard on what to be ruled a fielder's choice. Aaron Judge comes up 1-for-1 with a double. Soroka throws and Judge takes a strike. He's described this as playoff baseball in March, specifically that matchup with Mexico, which would be great preparation for the kind of environment they'd see in Miami. Much more tame these next couple games, the one against Italy and the one here against Canada. The environment has a little more of a hush comparatively.
And the biggest thing for Team Canada is keep this as close as possible and put the ultimate pressure on Team USA, who has all the pressure coming into this. And right now that narrative has been pretty good for Mike Soroka.
Yeah, you got a team in Canada nobody expected to be in this stage. House money in the quarters for the first time in 20 years into this tournament's history. 3-1 on Judge. Aaron Judge, 53 home runs last season, 2 in this World Baseball Classic. Waits on a 3-1 pitch. Takes ball 4. He's been on both times, and they're at first and second with 2 away.
Mike Soroka knows the first pitch is going to be very important here as we watch the replay of him making sure that the runner wasn't in essence running or halfway so he could make that play. But Schwarber is super aggressive. Swung at the first pitch, and I would anticipate he'd be ready to do that again.
It was Kyle Schwarber who got the U.S. on the board with a ground out in the first inning. Watches one miss just away. Ball one. Now ball two. The guy that always seems to come through for whatever team he's playing for. The Cubs at the start of his career. The Phillies for the last 4 years. Or anytime he's suited up for Team USA. Homered to break the ice against Great Britain last weekend. Mark DeRosa said he's always been confident, and now you got the confidence combined with the fact that he's been there, done that, knows that he can do it.
He's got the it factor. It takes a while to explain what that is, but he's got it. And
here's a cue shot down to third. Only chances with a bare hand from Toro, whose throw is wide. And a guy that hits as many home runs as anybody shoots a little 70-foot base hit to third. Good aim, Kyle.
yeah, this one right here hit off the end of the bat and spinning. And just had enough of the defenseman playing back to be able to beat that throw out.
Key spot coming right here for Team USA. The kind of hit that they've been searching for all tournament.
Yeah, and Bregman's going to need a middle-in mistake, and if he gets the middle-in mistake, it will be a loud noise. It could end up being 4 runs. He has not gotten off to a great start yet, and a lot of time to change that with a big swing right here with 2 outs.
Bregman was in the World Baseball Classic team as a 22-year-old back in 2017 when the U.S. won it all. The youngest guy on the team, handful of at-bats that time around. Much different place here. More than a decade into his major league career. Harper at third, Judge at second, Schwarber at first. A who's who of sluggers on the bases for Alex Bregman. Ball one.
And Bregman is right, and most of the time during the season he's right. He doesn't chase off the plate. He takes that away, and he owns the middle to middle in part of the plate.
Got one in the inside edge, 1-1.
And the way to combat that is to throw a front door breaking ball like he did right there, because that ball buckles you, and you, even though you like the pitch inside, it starts inside and catches the inside part of the plate.
Bregman has got 7 grand slams in his career. Watches one just miss. Big call right there from Bill Miller, the crew chief, who's behind the plate tonight. Ball 2. Soroka's already walked 2. Pressure on here in the third. Bases loaded, 2 out, and a 2-1 pitch. Buckled his knees again, 2-2.
That's again, really good pitch. Given the count, the circumstances of the bases loaded. And now a bunch of 2s, 2-2-2.
Deuce is wild for Alex Bregman. Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side. Toro with a diving stop to his feet. Heaves it high into the dugout. And Team USA cracks through. Harper in, Judge in. Schwarber over to third. Bregman to get second. It's 3-0. Officially ruled a hit with an error.
Well, he puts it in play, and once he makes this diving stop, it was going to be had to be a perfect throw, and he had to get rid of it as quickly as he could, and the ball sails on him. He gets to it, and when he gets up, he knows he's got to be quick, and the ball just sails.
That's already going to do it for Michael Soroka. Ernie Whitt making a pitching change. A run in the first, 2 here in the third. Second and third. 2 out for Roman Anthony. The new pitcher for Team Canada is a 23-year-old minor leaguer, Micah Ashman, who was traded from the Tigers to the Orioles last summer. Had an awesome season, but that was an A-ball and Double-A, and here he is in the World Baseball Classic facing Roman Anthony.
Go get him, young man. This is a great opportunity.
Strike one.
To showcase your skills. There's not a lot of intel on him, and this is the journey.
Sure, it feels like he's on you. 6'7", long strides to the plate. And lefty for Roman Anthony to deal with. Schwarber at third, Bregman at second. Anthony with a healthy cut and a miss. Strike two.
The amount of arms that we've seen in this tournament have been plentiful. I mean, the rosters are filled with them, and then all you need is some seasoning for these guys to progress at their levels, and before you know it, they'll be in the big leagues gaining a lot of experience from a tournament like this.
Got him on 3 pitches. Impressive stuff from Micah Ashman. U.S. breaks through for a couple more, though. 3-0 lead. Middle of the third.
Confidence in them. You know, we change it up a little bit, bring in the lefty, and, you know, there might be a right-handed switch coming along. So we have a setup we can go right, left, just to try to balance out the lineup.
Against Logan Webb, what would you like to see your hitters do?
Well, they're hitting the ball hard. I mean, we've hit 3 balls hard, and they've caught them. So we just keep swinging the bat and hope for the best.
Finally, you're the only WBC manager Canada has ever had. Ernie, what is different about this team that enabled it to reach the quarterfinals?
We have more major league players on it, and our pitchers are throwing well, and they have good arms.
Ernie, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
Yeah, for sure. The pitching statistically has been the biggest differentiator from the previous Canadian teams. They had a 7.60 ERA at the first 5 World Baseball Classics. 7.60. This team has a 1.50 ERA coming into this quarterfinal. Didn't give up a home run in Puerto Rico. So they didn't just go from bad to all right. They went from terrible to the best pitching staff right there with Puerto Rico in this tournament. Aldo Lopez to his shortstop counterpart Bobby Witt. Snaps up a throw for the first out. Gone in this second inning. Josh Naylor will come up. Naylor scorches one up the middle, but it's caught by Witt. Scorching now, a bit of an overstatement as that thing knuckles out there. 2 up and 2 down for Logan Webb, who's doing exactly what Mark DeRosa wanted him on this team to do, and that is pitch efficiently. 2 gone in the third, and he's at 36 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, he fits that mold against a lineup that may not have a ton of power, but certainly you get ahead and you can induce those ground balls. To Canada's credit, they have put some really good at-bats against them, and not a lot to show for it.
Tyler O'Neill's got one of the 3 hits for Canada, and it takes a strike from Webb. Fly ball left center field. Anthony to the gap. He's got it. That's a 6-pitch third for Webb. Third as the Dominican Republic officially awaits the winner of this game in the semifinal. 10-0 Mercy Rule win over Korea. Walk-off home run in the 7th for Austin Wells. This is the first home run of the game. Seems like every time I flip on the Dominican game, somebody's hitting the ball over the fence, but they got 10 runs with just that 1 homer.
They're loaded.
Woo.
They have a really, probably the best team I've seen them put together, and they're playing as if they know they're loaded.
Yeah, with a manager who knows something about hitting, and Albert Pujols managing that Dominican Republic club. Here's Cal Raleigh to start the 4th for Team USA. Raleigh trying to get things started. Hasn't done a whole lot yet. Mark DeRosa's gone back and forth with his 2 all-star catchers. Raleigh 1 game, Will Smith the next. That's the plan if they make it to the semifinal, is that Will Smith would start that. And if they were to advance to the championship, then Mark DeRosa plans to take stock, see who his best guy is, and the same can be said at any spot where he's tried more than one guy. And in the championship game, it would be based off of what he's seen over the last week plus. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Raleigh. Gotta like Ashman first handful of pitches, huh?
Yeah, he's got great downhill action. You talk about his size. It's not always the easiest advantage for a tall pitcher because mechanically more things can go wrong. But when you're clean and tall, imagine the hitter seeing the ball a lot less of a distance.
Raleigh checked his swing.
We always talk about that extension, and what that means is that's where the pitcher's releasing the ball. So stride length and arm length equaling less time for a hitter to see, and that reaction time for the hitter, they'll tell you it's not fun.
Here's what life is like for Cal Raleigh. That's the first fastball that Ashman's thrown in his 8th pitch.
That's why Hall of Famer Randy Johnson was not fun to hit off of.
Yeah. The funk, the angle, the length, and he's throwing upper 90s. Another 2-2, and Raleigh's down swinging on a high fastball. So Ashman's faced 2 hitters. Roman Anthony, top prospect in baseball that graduated last year. Cal Raleigh coming off an historic season and struck them both out.
That replay right there showing the grip. That was a changeup grip that an infielder never wants to have. But he didn't have a lot of choices. He had to go in and grab it and throw it as quickly as he could.
Bryce Turang here. Mark DeRosa predicted a 30-30 season. Not necessarily this season, but in Bryce Turang's future when we talked to him today.
Well, he plays in the perfect place. It's a hitter's paradise. And he's got a lot of thunder in that bat.
Corks one the other way. A base hit for Turang. So his excellent World Baseball Classic continues. Johnny's hitting .385.
And you know what? He's got a bat just about as heavy or not heavier than Aaron Judge.
Pete Crow Armstrong coming to the plate here. Kenny, you got all the details on that big piece of lumber that he's swinging, huh?
Joe, it's interesting. Bryce Turang is listed at 6 feet, 190 pounds. But the bat he swings is longer than the bat used by the 6'7", 282-pound Aaron Judge, and it's nearly as heavy. That puck knob that Turang began using before the 2024 season gave him the extra length, and it helped him generate greater power. His bat is 35.5 inches, 32.5 ounces. Judge uses a 35-inch, 33-ounce model.
2-0 on Pete Crow Armstrong. You were mentioning the other night, it seems like every time you look, there's a former big leaguer's kid starring. Turang's another one of those guys. His dad, Brian, played outfield for the Mariners in the early 90s. Got big and strong enough to swing that big bat that Kenny's talking about. In a training facility that Brian retired and then ran for a lot of Bryce's childhood in Corona, California. Bryce has a tattoo on his arm of him and his dad both wearing their major league uniforms. Really cool. This guy's dad wearing the #1 that he wore for the Mariners. Bryce in his #2 for the Brewers. Should be said, though, it's not just dad. His mom was a stud softball player. Made it to the College World Series playing for Long Beach State. He had 4 older sisters that were college athletes. With Bryce Turang.
Wow.
Little squirt here. Did all right himself. The youngest of the 5. 3-2 on Pete Crow Armstrong. Driven in the air to center field. Clark's going back. This is where balls have gone to die, and another does in front of that 409 sign. And he can go back in there and share misery with Bryce Harper, who hit a similar ball earlier tonight. Harper's ball would have been a home run in 24 of the 30 ballparks. Be interested to see how many this one would have gotten out in.
Well, depending on what Chicago brings and weather, you couldn't drive some of those out of the park, and then you could barely one-hand swing and the ball will jump out based on the wind direction. Wrigley Field, of course, that's where Armstrong and now Bregman will share the field.
Got to imagine you didn't get 2 steps into Wrigley Field on your start days before checking those flags.
Oh, you bet. That is the first thing. And when we took batting practice there, because obviously we did when we were hitting, and you as a pitcher could go deep all the time, I stopped hitting. It was no longer fun.
Scaring yourself?
If I could do that, those hitters that were way better than me were going to be able to have that luxury of fly ball city.
Bounce back to the mound, and Ashman continues his impressive work. 1+ scoreless innings, the bottom of the 4th. This to the semifinal to take on the Dominican Republic on Sunday. Logan Webb, though, and Casey missed away with his first pitch. 3 scoreless innings for Logan Webb, who's not given up a run since the first batter that he's faced in this WBC against Brazil in the first game last Friday. 9 strikeouts, no walks over 7 innings. Webb going into his 8th season with the San Francisco Giants. All-star the last 2 years, Cy Young votes 4 consecutive seasons. As sure of a thing as there's been in the National League.
And he pitches in a great home ballpark. That is one of the, if you can throw strikes and get the ball on the ground.
Casey slices his fly ball to center field. Pete Crow Armstrong glides to it. 1 gone. Giants are going to be good this year. Taking a look at what they've done. Brought in Luis Arraez to add to that lineup. You got Rafael Devers, his first full season there. Harrison Bader had a great finish last year. He's now with the San Francisco Giants. And then you've got Webb and Robbie Ray at the top of that rotation.
Well, they're going to have to be really good to compete for that division, which I think if you're in that division, you're thinking not only how do I get a playoff spot?
Just get in, huh? Toro struck out looking his first time. It's a little bit low here, 1-1. And Giants with the new manager, Tony Vitello, coming from the University of Tennessee, an unconventional hire that Buster Posey has made. Getting ready to start his first major league season. 1-1 from Webb. Pulled off the hand, shallow right, and a base hit for Toro. Been a few soft hits for Team Canada. Trying to chip away at this 3-0 deficit.
Well, the thing about Webb and keeping the ball in the ballpark is he's always that 1 pitch away from a double play, right? And that's the beauty of his ability to pitch and get the ball on the ground.
Strike 1 on Tyler Black.
I was always envious of guys like that. I mean, I did have obviously more swing and miss and fly balls in my games. I didn't get a lot of double plays, which are one of the best feelings in the world for a pitcher, right? You throw 1 pitch, you get 2 outs. But that's the style that, you know, sinker ballers bring into the game, that you want to get them from lifting the ball and hitting the top of the ball, which when you hit the top of the ball, you're going to hit it on the ground.
How about the whole idea, we were talking about this with Webb, when you have strikeout stuff, balancing the ability to go get that strikeout with the goal of being efficient, getting quick outs.
Yeah, the guys you want to strike out are the ones that could take you out of the park. I mean, you know, in theory, if you're always going for strikeouts, you're going to throw your pitch count into an area where you're not long-term going to help your ball club. But if you got a man on third, less than 2 outs, and you can get the punch out, that's where it's exciting to see the kind of stuff in the big leagues that we see from these arms. And it plays in the postseason, and it definitely helps you miss bats, which is the goal of everybody that is running the game. They want you to miss bats, and they want the hitter to hit the ball to the moon and not care about strikeouts per se. I don't ascribe and agree to all of it, but that's the way the game is being run today. And because they're counteracting the velocity and the spin. That's what they feel is best for the hitters to be successful, by not sacrificing the ability to put the ball in play per se, but had that full swing to get that exit velocity.
It's a wave and a miss on that changeup, which has been the pitch that he's been most known for, in addition to that sinker through the years.
There's that real good arm speed again. The hitter can't stay back because he's anticipating a sinker that doesn't quite get there. So to finish that thought, the problem with that when you get to the postseason is if you don't put the ball in play enough, it hurts your chances to move on.
2 outs, ball one on Naylor. And we saw, the Blue Jays run. Sometimes, doesn't matter how hard you hit it, just simply putting the ball in play, putting the pressure on, can be what makes the dam burst.
Two of the best teams really ended up in that category, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, and I don't think people realized how stacked the Blue Jays were because everyone was focusing on the Dodgers and their payroll, but it wasn't that big a disparity between the two, and it was an epic World Series.
Hit hard, but Harper's there at first to take it himself. And after 4 innings in Houston, a 3-0 lead for the Americans, and the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. That means Aaron Judge on the other side of this break.
This little
Dominican Republic crowd in Miami on Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on FS1. And then on the other side of the bracket here in Houston tomorrow, you've got Puerto Rico and Italy. A couple surprise teams for different reasons in this WBC. Italy making the stage for the first time. Puerto Rico hit really hard by guys not able to play on the team because denied insurance. Injuries have hurt them. Not going to be easy for Japan in that quarterfinal against Venezuela. 2, 3, and 4 for the U.S. here. Running the first and 2 in the third. Harper is 0 for 2. Takes a strike. Just taking a look, John, at Dominican Republic's team batting numbers. As a team, they're hitting .312 with 14 home runs.
Yeah. No, it's pretty impressive.
Chop the line first. Backhand Naylor. One way. How fun would Paul Skeens against that lineup be if the U.S. can win this game?
Well, that's when you draw things up. That's what they drew up, and hopefully for Paul Skeens and Team USA, they're going to get a chance to test that out, because that truly, I mean, it's an all-star type. That's what you would face in an all-star game, and you always want that challenge.
Judge with one away. He's been on both times in this game. A double, a walk, and a run scored. Their 9-hitter today, Geraldo Perdomo, was top 5 in MVP voting last year. And he's the 9-hitter. And he's only in the lineup because Jeremy Pena got hurt. That's how deep that Dominican position player group is. Luis Severino scheduled to start Sunday's game.
Yeah. And Luis Severino is, after he's been through his injuries, looks like Luis Severino again.
Christopher Sanchez dominated today against Korea. Judge down to third for Toro. Another bad throw from him, but Naylor's able to hold the bag this time. 2 away.
This has kind of been the story after the second game for Team USA's offense. You know, not really putting on pressure early, meaning runners on with nobody out. They've been doing a lot of damage coming back with 2 outs. They just haven't gotten in that rhythm where you go hit, and they're facing a pretty tough left-hander that I'm sure they have no intel on.
Ashman's gone 2 innings. This match is as high as a pro. Kyle Schwarber knocked in the first run for the Americans on a 1-0 pitch. Swings over the top of a pitch that bounces. 1-1. You can just tell, especially on the left, he's really tough to see.
He's got a great angle that he's throwing from. And he's throwing a lot of quality pitches, making hitters look kind of silly.
Schwarber off balance, and against Harper, Judge, and Schwarber goes 1, 2, 3 with a few quiet ground balls. Watching Team Italy against Mexico, but waiting to roar for Team USA. Leading 3-0. Logan Webb becomes the first pitcher for Team USA to pitch into the 5th. He would have been a good candidate to pick to be that guy. And here he is at 54 pitches on a night where the limit moves up to 80 pitches in the quarterfinal, although Mark DeRosa said he's built up to 70. 55 in as he faces Denzel Clark. Delivers an 0-1. Quickly ahead 0-2. That changeup dipping and diving under the swing.
Well, there's so many moving parts that people don't have to understand. They just look at the pitch limits. There's so many moving parts to this. I mean, they've added relievers. You got guys coming and going. And you got all the different rules that are not only in this tournament, but rules that are coming from other organizations for their players. It's a lot to put in the matrix. And the bottom line is, no matter who's here and no matter what lineup they got to execute. And it looks great on paper. But you got to execute. You got to score. And now you're in the single elimination department. You can't really afford a clunker of a game.
Webb's 1-2 to Clark. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. His 5th K. And make that 11 strikeouts to no walks for Logan Webb in this tournament. US 3, Canada 0. Here's the 9-hitter, Edouard Julien. Guys to be in the same division this year, Webb and Julien. Julien coming from Minnesota to Colorado this offseason. Hockey rematch. Both men's and women's. World Series of a team from Canada against a team from USA. Baseball in Canada right now, there's a ton of excitement around. A lot of it is tied to how the Blue Jays are doing, and that team not just making a run, but such a likable group the country latched on to. And then Team Canada following that up with the deepest run they've ever made. Sport's in a great place there.
Yeah, that was electric last year, and just seeing that team finally coming through with all the potential and the young players. And look, they've won a couple championships. That's not the deal. It's just been a long drought, and it was just a long one that would almost ended. But the country, unlike a city here that roots for a team, it was the whole country that kind of comes around Toronto and roots for that team to knock off the Dodgers.
Well, in the same way, there's a whole generation of guys that fell in love with baseball watching the 92 and 93 Blue Jays teams, like Justin Morneau, who is a coach on this Canadian team. You're going to have kids that fell in love with baseball watching the Toronto Blue Jays in 2025. And I'm sure a few more that started to get the itch watching Team Canada in this World Baseball Classic. Julien takes the walk, his first one of the day for the Canadians. Back to the top of the order in Otto Lopez, and for more, down to Ken.
Well, Otto Lopez has been a star of this tournament for Team Canada, and he's one reason to believe that the Marlins might be a surprise team this year. They claimed him on waivers from the Giants in April of 2024. Used him mostly at second base until last season in May when they switched him to shortstop. Their manager, Clayton McCullough, believes he has the reactions, the athleticism, the arm strength to be in the Gold Glove conversation, and he's got offensive upside as well. McCullough said Lopez is turning himself into a very intriguing player.
The word intriguing you could say about that whole team. A lot of good young players. They've traded aggressively the last year plus, building up the system. Players ready to break through to the major leagues. Andy Pettit to the phone. That's 5 straight misses from Logan Webb. Yeah, the first real sign of stress for him since the first inning when Canada put 2 of the first 3 on. Brad Keller's getting loose. And David Ross down there in the pen. Run in the first, 2 in the third for Team USA. Webb shutting out Canada on 4 hits over these 4+ innings. Top of the order, though. Third look at Webb. Gerardo Lopez. One ball and no strikes. Webb fires and fouled off himself and in some pain as he skates down towards first.
Hit it. Should be able to hit it twice. What do you think?
Certainly add another wrinkle to the thing. That's ball 2 on Lopez, who was born in the Dominican Republic, but his dad got a teaching job in Montreal, and so the family moved there when he was young and spent a lot of his childhood there. Back to the Dominican to train for his baseball career when he was a teenager. Takes a strike and it's 2-2. One of the 21 big leaguers on Team Canada. Keller's ready. Naylor's on deck. And Webb getting close to that 70 pitch mark that Mark DeRosa said would be the ceiling. Lopez making him work. Here's another 2-2 and it's in the dirt to run the count full. Julian over at first base, decent speed, no kind of burner. And a 3-0 game in the bottom of the 5th. Here's a payoff. There goes Julian. Bounce back to Webb. He'll go to second. That's late. Throw to first. They'll get him. Took a shot at second. But with Julian often moving with the pitch, he's in there safely. So Lopez out at first. 2 away in this 5th inning. And Josh Naylor will come to the plate.
Well, he's always in pretty good fielding position and took a chance knowing it was hit right back to him. But that could have been a dangerous play there if he realizing getting the out's more important than necessarily the lead runner.
That's going to do it for Webb. Here comes Mark DeRosa. 4 2/3. Nothing doing against Webb, trying to pitch Team USA into the semifinal.
Yeah, did a nice job, and that's all you can ask for when you sign up for this. You want to be at your best, and he certainly was.
Into the bullpen they go. This is Brad Keller. Dominant last year with the Cubs, now with the Philadelphia Phillies. Pours in a strike to Josh Naylor. Under at second, of course, Webb's responsibility, and so Keller would love to close the book for him on shutout baseball. Naylor's quiet WBC has continued. He's 0 for 2. Chopper, easy one at first for Harper. And 5 scoreless innings put up by Team USA's pitching staff. Logan Webb carrying the load tonight. On to the 6th, 3-0. 4 2/3 scoreless innings. A 3-0 lead. And a new pitcher into the game for Team Canada. You go from a kid in Ashman to a 37-year-old in Philippe Aumont, who's pitching in his 4th World Baseball Classic for Canada.
2015, the last time he was in the major leagues.
That was with the Philadelphia Phillies. Faces Alex Bregman to open the 6th, and he's inside with his first pitch. Now, the last WBC, he's all lined up to pitch. 2 months before, he's playing ice hockey back home in Canada. Skates give out, breaks his tailbone. Bregman breaks this ball down the line, but foul. Aumont, though, After breaking his tailbone 2 months later, he says, I'm good, I'm pitching for my country, and still in pain. Went out there and in 2023 did it for the 3rd time, and now make it 4 here in 26. Oh, and a strike on Bregman. Now ahead 2-1. Bregman with an RBI single his last time up. It's an infield hit that the third baseman Toro threw away, and 2 runs came in. Biggest play of this game back in the 3rd. Look out, ball 3.
Breaking ball, slider that didn't slide.
Toro gets a knuckling one-hopper. This time throws on the mark to get Bregman. You mentioned Amon last pitched in the major leagues in 2015. He last pitched, period, other than the WBC, in 2019. So this is just his side gig. He's at this point focused on being a family man and a farmer back home in Canada. Roman Anthony watches one miss away, ball 1. Anthony in this game 0 for 2. It's a long home run against Mexico on Monday night. 2-0. Amon drafted in 2007. He was the 11th overall pick. Roman Anthony would have been 2 when he was drafted.
There's definitely some pretty incredible stories that'll happen in pool play, and as they go on, obviously the teams that advance, their rosters won't have as many of those stories. Young players getting a chance to get exposed, and then stories like this. But you know, the other thing that I think people don't really understand is that when you go to spring training, you're there. You're playing a lot. You might get a day off or 2. You're not traveling a ton. You're going by bus. And in this deal, you got days off. You're moving around. Like it just interrupts the flow of what you're doing. And oh, by the way, it counts a lot. So, you know, Team USA had that day off yesterday, and they get to play today, and they'll have if they win, they'll have the day off tomorrow, and then try to get to those next 2 games. So it's definitely, as every manager that we've talked to said, it's what you do now, right? The mindset of now, executing, not having that. You can afford the one bad game, maybe, in pool play, and survive it, which Canada did, by the way. They had the one sloppy game and then were able to bounce back and win the pool.
Soft bouncer. Amon won't get there. Nobody will in time to get Anthony. Infield hit for Roman Anthony. A one-out base runner for the U.S.
Yeah, it's hitting no man's land, and typically when you're familiar with your players, you know who's going to go where and what. Once the pitcher didn't get it, he's got to really take an angle towards first base. I don't think it would have mattered, but that play you can practice all day and not necessarily perfect it.
He's saying, I've been a farmer for the last 6 years. You guys figure it out. Ball 1 on Cal Raleigh. 0 for 2.
Cal would like to hear a click of the bat soon, like one of those click sounds, whether it's an out or not, that comes off the bat that we're used to seeing from Cal Raleigh. And he hasn't checked in with a hit yet, so that would be a this at bat right here would go a long way, not only for him. Wow, there's that sound. Did he keep it fair?
quite. Does that count?
That counts.
That was a click.
That was a click. That counts, even though it did not result in one of the results you wanted. But that's what last year was filled with, right? When he gets in rhythm, he's hitting a lot of those fair.
111-mile-per-hour foul ball. 2 balls and a strike on Raleigh. Amon delivers, and he lays off this time.
See what teams try to do, and they didn't do it very well. And that's why the average won't be high for Cal Raleigh for the most part, because he's got that one hole up and in. But other than that, if you don't get it there, it's in the stands somewhere.
Got to be so stressful facing guys like that. Where you're like, I know where I got to go, but I better not miss.
Don't miss.
He didn't miss. Three-1 comes home. Just misses for ball 4, and they're first and second. How to do it for Amon. 5 times. Ernie Witt has managed Team Canada 4 times. As Adam Mako is in the Blue Jays organization, AA and AAA last year. He's on to face Bryce Turang with 2 on and 1 out here in the 6th.
Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup.
Goes to the slider for his first pitch. He was born in Slovakia, was Adam Mako. His family moved to Ireland and then moved to Alberta. Up the middle goes Turang, into the base hit for the Brewer. Anthony's in to score. 4-0 USA as they find the board for the first time since early.
Really good sign, and the more breathing room, the better.
To the bottom of the order, getting it done for Team USA here, and Pico Armstrong. He's got a single and a fly out to the wall in center field. Swats one into center field, may get 2 base hits for PCA. A run batted in as Raleigh comes in, and the U.S. leads 5-0.
It's hard to do this every game, but that's the expectation you have for this lineup, right? If pitchers are off just a little bit, you think they're going to run into 7 to 10 to 12 runs. Well, I don't think that's what they need moving forward. They just need to execute like this when runners are on, and they create pressure on the opposing pitchers.
Top of the order in Bobby Witt. 5 runs on 8 hits for the U.S. tonight. They've got 3 walks as well, putting that pressure on you're talking about. And everybody in the lineup has reached base at least once. For Witt, that was a walk to start the ball game. Long at bat really set the tone, it seemed like, for this night of tough at bats and constant pressure. 2-0. Well, the U.S. against Mexico and Italy had 3 hits with runners in scoring position in those 2 games combined. Tonight they're already 4 for 7.
And the difference really is when you get 2-out rallies, they're fun, they're momentous, but it's harder to get 2-out rallies to score with runners in scoring position. When you have pressure early, then the pitcher feels that, and he's more apt to make mistakes.
Down the line, backhand Toro steps on the bag, running throw, and a double play to get Bobby Witt to finish off the top of the 6th. But a pair produced by the bottom of the order. Turang and Pico Armstrong, 8 and 9 in Mark DeRosa's lineup. Both drive-in runs, and it's 5-0, middle 6. Trying to make it hold up and advance to the semifinal to take on the Dominican Republic on Sunday. Brad Keller replaced Logan Webb in the 5th. At the last out of the 5th inning. Here in the 6th, they'll face 2, 3, and 4. Naylor, O'Neill, and Casey. Or beg your pardon, O'Neill, Casey, and Toro. 1-0 on Tyler O'Neill. That's one of the 4 hits in this game for Canada. He's talking about today trying to find that balance when every game's magnified, every at-bat is magnified like this. How do you make that a fuel instead of just over trying and gripping the bat and trying so hard every time you're up there? Grounds this one to second, and he said, I wish I had it figured out. It's his 3rd World Baseball Classic. He said he feels like he does a better job of handling that push and pull, but it's something all these guys are going through. That was Clayton Kershaw running out of the camera. Good chance this is Kershaw's last game on Team USA's roster. Set to get reinforcements for the semifinal. And Mark DeRosa was really hopeful he'd have a chance to use Kershaw. Probably still not in the situation where he would do so. If they could add on, that would be a side benefit of it. 2-0 on Owen Casey.
Keller's breaking ball was one of the hardest pitches to hit. 067. Big curveball.
And the velocity went way up last year, too. He'd been 93, 94 for most of his career. He was 97 last year. Good time for it going into free agency. Cashed in with a 2-year deal with the Phillies. Here's his 3-1 to Casey. Downstairs, ball 4. Take home a piece of the game. You can bid on game used jerseys, baseballs, bases, and more at auctions.com or auctions.mlb.com. Casey's on, Toro's up. Takes a slider for a strike. Toro, we mentioned, started his career here with the Houston Astros. He said it's always extra special coming here. Said the thing that he remembers most about his first day in the big leagues, the first guy to greet him when he got into the clubhouse was Garrett Cole. Remembers how much that meant to him. 1 week later, he's playing one of his first games, and Justin Verlander throws a no-hitter. Wave and a miss to the change. Team Italy tomorrow against Puerto Rico. Toro down the left field line, but foul. Italy made it look like there was no flash in the pan with what they did to Mexico the other day. Pasquantino catches fire, hits 3 home runs.
It was one of the most impressive 1 through 9 offensive displays of not only controlling the strike zone but hitting homers.
Toro over the mound, charging his short whip. Flips a throw over to first to get him.
And they did it with relative ease. I mean, they were up 8-0 against the Team USA, and they had to hang on 8-6, and they were up big against Team Mexico. And what a credit to them and the espresso machine.
That's right. The Armani jacket, look good, feel good, play good. And a win away from the semifinal. Ben's in there for a strike on Black. Going to face off with a Puerto Rico team tomorrow that has made it to the finals twice. This is a very different version of Puerto Rico, though. No Lindor, no Correa, no Kike Hernandez or Javier Baez, no Victor Caratini. So instead of all those household names, you've got a bunch of young and hungry, relative unknown players that have started to make their names. Did so hosting the pool round. And you do not want to fall behind that Puerto Rico team with what they have lurking in the bullpen. You got Fernando Cruz and Edwin Diaz both at the back end. One and two on Tyler Black. Hits this one by Bregman into left field for a base hit to get Canada on the board. With 2 outs, they crack through here in the 6th. It's 5-1. Mark DeRosa to make a change. Keller's finished. He'll go back into the bullpen. 5-1 lead for the U.S. Yeah, what a matchup that's going to be. Everybody talking about Team USA against Japan, a rematch in the championship, but both those teams with a lot of work to do in order to set that up.
Yeah, a lot of teams to get through, and Shohei will not pitch, but he's certainly locked in hitting already.
Gabe Spire comes in for Mark DeRosa. Runner at first, 2 out. Yeah, and strike one on Bo Naylor. This is the 3rd game in this World Baseball Classic Spire's pitched in. Coming off an awesome season for the Seattle Mariners last year, where he emerged as one of the top left-handed guys in the league.
You throw that 2-seam sinker that's hard to hit, and then the elevated fastball, which is even harder to hit.
Caught the corner.
And then he'll mix in that slider. He's a 3-pitch pitcher, and get the feeling he could throw almost every day. I don't know. I just get the feeling he's one of those lefties of give me the ball.
Yeah, he's 2nd in the league in appearances, so that tracks. Former 19th round draft pick that's been traded not once, not twice, not 3 times. He's been traded 4 times, and then was a waiver claim of the Mariners 3 years ago. Finally establishing himself. Spire to Naylor with the 1-2.
Overthrowing the last couple, trying to elevate that fastball over the top of the zone.
Towering fly ball to deep right field. Judge is going back. Forget about it. Bo Naylor finds the 2nd deck, and Canada's back in this game. Home runs have been a problem for Team USA all tournament. They've given up more than anybody now, and it's 5-3.
Well, a slider middle into a left-hander is not a good recipe, and that is exactly where that pitch was. He's trying to get it away. Of course, when you leave it middle in to a lefty on lefty, they stay on that pitch about as good as anyone, and he was able to deliver there. A big moment, and now a ball game again.
3-run 6th inning for Canada. Denzel Clark. Flail and a miss, strike 1.
You watch this good extension and a ball that's right there, almost on a tee, and the slider that doesn't slide, it goes a long ways.
That's the 10th home run given up by Team USA pitching. That breaks a tie coming into this game with Brazil and the Czech Republic. 2 countries that you would expect would give up some home runs. Team USA, not so. 10 of them. It's more than a third of the hits that they've given up. Well, it really would not have been on brand for this week for this to be a walk in the park for Team USA. Nothing has been simple. 2-2 on Clark. Big guys coming up for Team USA: Harper, Judge, and Schwarber. Though for Bo Naylor, extra impressive doing it against a left-handed pitcher. He's only got 5 home runs in 4 years in the majors against lefties. Another foul ball off of the bat of Clark. Team Canada's got the Naylor brothers, Bo and Josh, and then Denzel Clark, who's at the plate here. Denzel's their cousin, and he credits Bo and Josh with getting him involved in baseball in the first place. He was mostly a track and field guy, following his mom's footsteps. His mom, Donna, an Olympian heptathlete back in the 1980s. Now, you name the sport, Denzel Clark's going to look like he belongs. 6'4", 200.
He's done a great job right here, battling off pitches after getting behind.
Stubby Clapp, third base coach. Canadian baseball legend for something he did in a Pan American Games game against the United States. 1999, had a walk-off hit against the U.S. Clark down to third. Bregman's got to be quick with Clark's speed. And he is to finish off the inning. But Canada saying not so fast. Bo Naylor with a no-doubt shot. It's 5-3 to the late innings. Right back in this game. 5-3 to the top of the 7th of this quarterfinal. Bryce Harper leads off. Adam Macko stays in. And a wicked cut and a miss from Harper. Be interesting to see how Canada plays this right here. You've got lefty, righty, lefty. Harper, Judge, Schwarber. The right-hander's ready in the bullpen and Indigo Diaz. Do you go lefty-righty against Judge, or do you go righty-lefty against Schwarber?
I think if a runner gets on right here, they're going to go to the right-hander.
U.S. with a run in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the 6th. Canada striking back with 3 in the bottom of the 6th. On a 1-1, Harper fouls it off, strike 2. Harper's 0 for 3 today. He reached on a fielder's choice, came in to score in the 3rd inning. Nailed a ball his first time up. It was caught in front of the wall in center. Canada's pitching staff, biggest strength for them in this WBC. Going to keep them within striking distance. A 2-2 to Harper. Count goes full. Bryce Harper leading off the 7th, taking strike 3. Bill Miller goes off at the outside corner by a couple inches there to ring up Harper. 1 away in the 7th.
Well, during the season, that would have been an ABS situation where you hitter challenges and would have got the benefit of the doubt and got the walk instead of the K. Those are the perfect scenarios that when you see this year play out, that's how it's going to work.
They're going to let Macko face Judge to see how careful he is with him. 1 ball and no strikes on the U.S. captain, who's doubled and walked in this game. Swing and a miss over a change. Three MVPs the last 4 years for Aaron Judge. On this 1-1 pitch, tries to lay off. Offered, strike 2. Macko coming right after him. Time called. Ernie Witt crossing his fingers he can get through Judge without damage, and then have the lefty-lefty against Schwarber. Here he comes to the 1-2. He misses high.
Judge needs one about belt high to get it to the train.
Towering fly ball, center field. But again, not quite enough on it. And Denzel Clark's got it. Didn't miss it by much.
Got it down just enough and away. Otherwise, normally that ball right there, when Judge is locked in the strike zone, gets just smashed.
Seeing some of the balls just die out there in center field in this tournament, it makes me think back to Yordan Alvarez's home run in Game 6 of the World Series in 22.
Oh,
over the batter's eye. How? Schwarber. Actually, I was talking with Schwarber about that home run before the game today, and he said when it had the reputation to be in a place where it doesn't fly to center field, and then that happened, and he said he remembers thinking to himself, how in the world did that guy just do that? One and two on Schwarber. A couple of young pitchers in this game, really impressing for Team Canada. Micah Ashman earlier, and now Adam Macko. A couple left-handers yet to reach the major leagues. Schwarber can't lay off. He strikes him out. Goes 1-2-3 through Harper, Judge, and Schwarber. And we stretch in a game that is too close for comfort for the United States.
Say starter Logan Webb. Logan, you've pitched a lot of big games in your career. What were your nerves and emotions like coming into this one, knowing what was at stake?
Yeah, it's a winner go home type of game, playoff atmosphere. It was awesome. I had a blast out there. Obviously, we got 2.5 more innings to get this thing done, and yeah, it was pretty electric.
You said yesterday that this experience has been the most fun you've had with a group of guys. What has made it so fun?
It's just a great group. You know, they got leaders all over the place, leaders of their own teams, and just great guys. And I think that's what makes it so special. And it's been so much fun to just hang with the guys, let alone share the field with them.
Finally, Logan, let's go back to Ernest tour bus. You got a lot of pressure that night from Ernest, from Pat McAfee, from David Ross to join Team USA. Looking back, how happy are you that you said yes?
Damn happy. Very happy I said yes.
All right, Logan, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, in a 5-3 game, David Bednar is on the pitch here in a key inning. 9-1-2 coming up for Canada. Edouard Julien takes the ball. It's 1-2.
Yeah, getting that first out is going to be huge for every reliever that comes in now. You're thinking about 3 innings you got to cover. You don't want to get that tying run at home plate too many times.
Julien, who drew a walk his last time, rakes this one on the ground to second. Bryce Terrain can't get it cleanly, and the leadoff man is on, and the tying run is up just like that. So Julien reaches for the second time. Back to the top in Otto Lopez in a 5-3 game.
He would have to come up with this right away, and he would have obviously got him out. But once the ball squirted away from the heel of the glove, an easy hit.
Terang, who's got a platinum glove, the best of the gold glovers. Would not have been shocking to see him come up with that play, but unable to squeeze it. And Otto Lopez, who had 15 home runs last year for the Marlins, is up there as the tying run in the 7th. Team Canada, where they've never gone before, into the knockout round, and now their sights set on a comeback win to reach the semifinal matchup with DR. Buckled his knees, 0-2. Bednar, the New York Yankees.
That's all you need to do to a hitter is get him to hesitate a little bit, not recognize that pitch out of the hand, and he's got a hard time keeping his hands back.
Bouncing ball left side. Witt's able to get there. Jump throw across the diamond, not in time. Another infield hit for Canada.
Ground ball in the hole, and he made what he only could do is try to make that jump throw. And fortunately, speed.
Tying run on. Go ahead run at the plate in the form of their best hitter, Josh Naylor, coming up. Little brother Bo has already gone deep in this game, and now Josh stands in. 0 for 3 in this game. And just 2-11 in the World Baseball Classic. Canada's been waiting for him to make an impact. A cross-up, and the tying run moves into scoring position. What a bad time for that to happen. Wow. These guys have worked together just a handful of times, if that.
I just think he missed it.
Wow.
Talking about one of the best in all of baseball last year, and he just missed it.
And suddenly, tying run in scoring position, nobody out here in the 7th. In a game USA led 5-0 what feels like minutes ago. 1 ball, 1 strike on Naylor. Garrett Whitlock, Griffin Jacks, last pitched on Monday, available in that bullpen for Team USA. Bednar comes home and misses. But even in a situation where you're trying to get to the next stage, he's not going to just immediately remove Bednar. As Bednar ramps up for his regular season. 2 balls and a strike. Here it comes. Ball 3. Pass ball, by the way, even more surprising when you consider that Cal Raleigh didn't have a single one of them last year. He caught more than 1,000 innings. 0 pass balls. Three and 1 on Naylor. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Bottom falls out of that splitter. 3-2. Garrett Whitlock is warming. Tyler O'Neill waits on deck. Bednar fires. Naylor pops it up. Left side, as good as a strikeout right there for David Bednar. Bregman's got it one way.
That is a huge out. I mean, huge.
Whitlock looks to be ready. Here's O'Neill.
I mean, this off the end of the bat here, and a pop-up, or got in on him and pop-up. That now they can, worst case scenario, trade it out for a run.
Skid strike 1. And another strikeout prone hitter right here. The Team Canada's gotten this far without a whole lot of anything from Josh Naylor or Tyler O'Neill. Naylor's hitting 200 in the WBC. O'Neill's hitting 176. And you figure if they're going to pull off this upset and continue this dream run, those guys are going to have a hand. Running out of chances. Down 0-2.
And you know what O'Neill was in his brief spring training with his team? 7 for 11.
Jeez.
So it just goes to show you, interruptions, change, come here, and a little bit off.
David Bednar hunting a strikeout. Second and third, 1 away. 5-3 game, 7th inning. Winner advances, losers done. 0-2 pitch. Now the 1-2. He struck him out. Canada's top two hitters at the plate, second and third, nobody out, and neither one of them able to bring in a runner.
Breaking ball that just falls off the table. Looked like it was going to stay in the zone the whole time and could not recognize it.
And it's up to Owen Casey, who at the age of 23 has knocked in more runs than any hitter in Canada's World Baseball Classic history. 9 of them in 7 games. Casey 1 for 3 today. 438 for the tourney. Bednar's 1-0. A strike.
I remember Bednar being one of those guys that will show a lot of emotion, but if he gets out of this, we may see a little bit of emotion. We'll see it definitely above the dugout, but
got it by him. Slowed him down with a curveball in the 70s, and then 96 speeds by, strike 2. Tense moment near the end of a tense week. Two and two.
good idea to try to go upstairs. Just missed the top of the strike zone.
Lofted down the line foul. We'll do the 2-2 again. Back-to-back infield singles to start this inning. And a pass ball had him second and third, nobody out. They're still there. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Bednar to Casey. Stays alive again. The 8th pitch coming up here. Another 2-2. He's worked the count full. Owen Casey ahead of his ears in this spot, this at bat. Payoff pitch. Hey, got him. He somehow gets out of it unscathed.
There's the emotion, and he recognizes what an incredible job.
4 2/3 scoreless innings from Logan Webb, but Team Canada refusing to just roll over. 3 runs in the 6th inning. 2-run home run from Bo Naylor, and a 5-3 game to the top of the 8th. Somehow, some way, John David Bednar able to get out of that jam.
Incredible. I mean, that is, in a scale of 1 to 10, that's an 11 given the circumstances. Middle of spring training, already impressed in that high pressure scenario, and he delivered.
This is Matt Tugboat Wilkinson, the left-hander for Canada that in 2 games, when you include exhibition, has faced 8 hitters and struck out 7 of them. You hear that and you picture high flying, high velocity stuff. Tugboat throws 91.
Yeah, he just has a great different release that hides the ball, and you hear the term invisible. That's because the hitter can't pick it up. It feels like an invisible baseball when it comes to home plate.
He was a 10th round pick of the Guardians out of Central Arizona College a couple years back. Spent last season in A-ball. And one of the many guys we've seen in this tournament probably open even his own team's eyes. Here's his 2-1 to Alex Bregman. That's ball 3. For the U.S., it's Bregman, Anthony, and Raleigh. Mark DeRosa over there just hoping and praying for some insurance. Can anything be simple this week? Smash foul. Bregman 1 for 3 in his return to the lineup today. Knocked in a run in the 2-run third. Final game for him here in his return to Houston. He's gotten good receptions. Spent 9 seasons here. 2 rings to show for it. 2017, 2022. Red Sox last year. And a 5-year contract with the Cubs. On a 3-2 from Tugboat. Do it again.
Sure, the USA squad's not really concerned that this turned into a really good game because they were hoping to have a little more freedom coming into these next 2 innings.
Straight up on the infield. Who wants it? Josh Naylor comes on, gives way to Julian. Canada will have 5, 6, and 7 coming up in the 8th inning, but they will get the top of the order to the plate again in this game. Roman Anthony to the plate. 3 relievers in for Mark DeRosa. He's used Keller, Spire, and Bednar. Griffin Jacks is available. Of course, you have to be mindful of your usage, not just for the guys in respecting their regular seasons and their build-ups, but when it comes to usage, if you throw 30 pitches, you need at least 1 day off before you can make the next appearance. And that's a bigger deal when you get into the next stage, and then you're looking at 50 pitches, where you use 50 pitches for a guy, he's done. You have 4 days until he can pitch again. So there's so many things that managers have to be wary of, mindful of, as they manage these staffs. One to Anthony. Caught the top, 1 and 2. Anthony 1 for 3, scored a run in the 6th. The win would send him back to his home state. Anthony grew up going to Marlins games. Carves out a fly ball to left field for Owen Casey. 2 away. Though Carrali heard that sound you were saying you needed to hear on that foul ball, wound up walking. Let's see if he can build off of whatever magic that click might have brought him.
Yeah, for hitters, you never know what it takes. Sometimes it's a bloop, but more importantly, it's the sound. You get that sound and you feel that click. Go to the plate ready.
This is a left-handed hitter, flips around, bats right-handed here. And this is one of the huge reasons that he had such an explosion last year, how much better he was against left-handed pitching. Had an OPS above 1,000 last year against lefties. For his career, that was 700. Totally different guy. Wilkinson ahead, 1 and 2. Well, you got Amon, the veteran, who gave up 2 runs, but the 3 youngsters that have come into this game, Ashman, Macko, and Wilkinson, have given up nothing.
Yeah, it's been really impressive.
Wilkinson looking for a 1-2-3-8, and he's got it with a high fastball against the big dumper. Tugboat gets dumper, and we go to the bottom of the 8th in a 5-3 game. Venezuela face off tomorrow, but then the semifinals on Sunday and Monday, with the championship coming Tuesday. The Dominican Republic awaits the winner of this game. 5-3, the United States in front. Bottom of the 8th inning, defensive change for Mark DeRosa. Byron Buxton comes in center field, and that moves Pete Crow Armstrong over to left. So you can put Buxton in Roman Anthony's spot in the order. Chances are doesn't get back around there. Anthony made the second out last inning. And Garrett Whitlock is on the pitch. Abraham Toro leads off and takes strike 1.
Garrett doesn't mess around. He attacks the zone. You see the numbers on the year last year. He is hard to hit. He's got weapons that swing and miss stuff.
Facing his Red Sox teammate of last year in Toro. Leading things off for Canada, Tyler Black, Bo Naylor to follow. Naylor is due up third, has the home run in this game for the Canadians. Toro lofts one into right field. Judge is on the run. He's there. Smile from the captain, and an out for USA.
Whenever you come in as a reliever in these situations, I know it sounds like a broken record, but the biggest stress relief is getting that first hitter. And then each hitter you just basically attack, making them hit their way on, because you know what's on deck. The on deck hitter would become the tying run. So you cannot give a free pass late in the game up by 2. If they hit their way on and they hit their way to victory, well, that's just sometimes you got to live with it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tyler Black. The last inning against Keller, or against Spire, immediate pressure. First 2 reached against him, and then somehow able to get out of that jam. David Bednar. Ball and a strike. Here he comes. That's pop foul. Headed for the seats. 1-2 on Black. 1 for 3. Knocked in a run and scored in the 6th inning. Black, 25 years of age, handful of games the last 2 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Waits on this 1-2. Fouls it off and stays alive. U.S. has 8-9-1 coming up in the top of the 9th inning. For normal teams, that'd be not much to write home about. But for the U.S. tonight, 8-9 hitters are Turang and Pete Crow Armstrong. 4 for 6 in this game. That's half of the team's hits. That is a wave and a miss. Helplessly, Black retired. 2 out.
Bottom drops out of that split finger.
And so you face Naylor the way that you had hoped, the way he hit it his last time into the upper deck. Hit it there again, and you still have the lead as Whitlock retires the first 2. 5-3 ball game, bottom of the 8th of this quarterfinal. Naylor to second, and it's caught by Turang. 8 innings in the books. 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Whitlock. And MLB Plus is new for 2026. You can stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week. Live radio broadcasts of every game and plenty more. Go to visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Bryce Turang finished off last inning with a nice defensive play. At the plate today, he's 2 for 3 and has knocked in a run. Make a case, he's the MVP of this team so far.
Yeah, he's definitely opened, I would say open eyes anytime you play in the big leagues a full year, but he's been in Milwaukee doing his thing, and the future is so good for this young player, but Mark DeRosa just speaks volumes of not really knowing till you see somebody up close and every day. What did he say? He says, get on the phone and trade for him right now.
Matt Arnold not answering. Sending it voicemail if he knows you're calling about this guy. Gotten better and better as his career has gone on. The defense has always been there, but you can see what the offensive numbers have looked like. Takes ball 4. A leadoff walk here in the 9th inning. Looking for some insurance before 8, 9, and 1 come up in the Canada order. So he's on with a walk here. He leads the team in hits. He leads the team in extra base hits. And this guy here in Pico Armstrong having a pretty good WBC himself. Byron Buxton was the starting center fielder to begin the Classic, but Crow Armstrong with the 2-home-run game against Italy wrestling the spot from him. A little spinner off the end of the bat, knuckles its way up the middle. Lopez with a nifty play to turn 2. That thing had as much English on it as you're ever going to see.
The old double play. Rally killer, but you're right. It got a little deflected, spin, and
they're going to roll with Wilkinson here. They had a right-hander ready for Bobby Witt, but they'll keep him in there. Right-hand turn. It'll be Clark, Julian, Lopez. If anybody reaches, Josh Naylor. Mason Miller's ready in the U.S. pen. 2-0. Mark DeRosa not messing around. Not going to take any chances in a win-or-go-home game. His best guy getting ready to handle the 9th inning. Strike 1 on Witt. After Witt, it's Harper. On 3-1, Bobby Witt Jr. watches ball 4. And the inning continues. Bryce Harper will get another chance to get his swing going. Figure almost certainly one way or another this will be the last hitter that Wilkinson faces. Judge is on deck. 5-3 ball game, top of the 9th inning. First one to Harper. Just outside. It's the same spot that he got rung up on his last time.
same thing with Harper. You know, he thought he had that one in the first. But it doesn't matter right now. Just getting a bloop or anything just to get going, to feel like that momentum is there to keep going. Harper's going to be huge if they're going to win it all.
Yeah, hard to envision Team USA getting gold medal without a moment from Bryce Harper. Playing in the World Baseball Classic for the first time. Team USA is a teenager, 18 and under, 16 and under clubs. Wearing the number 24 that he wore on those teams. Come on back. Yeah, he is fed up with Bill Miller.
Yeah, that's true, right? I mean,
Mark DeRosa was telling us today how hard it is to see the corners from over in the dugout, but you can tell height. And so there he is in defense of his first baseman, shouting out there. 3-1. And now 3-2. Two-run lead, 2 gone, 9th inning. 3 outs away from advancing to the semis. A payoff pitch to Bryce Harper. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So to the bottom of the 9th we go. Fasten those seatbelts with Mason Miller ready for Mark DeRosa. 8-9-1 coming up for Canada.
At the UPS store, we offer a lot.
The top 9th inning guy in baseball at this point. You've got to go back to August 5th of last year to find the last time that he gave up a run, right after he was dealt to the Padres from the Athletics. For Team USA, John, he's faced 7 hitters. He's struck out 5 of them. I want to know what happened with the other 2.
Yeah, he can make a mockery of it with his fastball and his ability to prevent hits. I mean, his slider even better than his fastball.
For Canada, it's Denzel Clark, Edward Julian, Otto Lopez. Josh Naylor would be due up 4th. And instead of pinch hitter here, this is Jared Young, who will pinch hit for Denzel Clark. It does not waste any time cutting loose a swing. Young of the New York Mets. Handful of games last year. Parts of 3 seasons in the big leagues, Chicago and New York. He's down 0-2. You got to deal with 100, and then he can break off that slider and make life miserable. Started with Webb, 4 2/3 scoreless innings. Going to finish with Miller and a trip to Miami. Young stays alive. One in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the 6th for Team USA. All 3 for Canada came in the 6th. The chance that they will lament if they're unable to come back here. What'll keep them up at night will be that 7th inning where they had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and couldn't get anything. And the situational hitting had been a problem for Canada in pool play as well. Just the pitching had been so exceptional. They had the room for air. Outpitched the lack of clutch. Not the case today. 5 in the bank for Team USA. The 1-2 pitch from Miller. Count evens 2-2.
Yeah, meanwhile, Team USA's offense spoiled everybody the first 2 games, thinking that it was going to be more of that, and just kind of goes dormant a little bit. You know, they've got the 5 runs. They're never really exploding.
Check swing. No swing. And it's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Yeah, the Americans without a hit since the 6th inning.
What a good pitch. I mean, it was so good. I don't know how he didn't swing at it.
On a payoff, fouls it off. Credit to Jared Young, cold off of the bench to face Mason Miller. Found himself 0-2 like that, and he's about to see the 8th pitch. Miller wins the battle. Got the call on a fastball. 1 out in the 9th.
Well, another one of those during the season that would have been challenged.
Edward Julian. Single and a walk in this game. Top of the order after. Canada has not beaten the United States since the first WBC, 2006. hadn't advanced out of pool play because they'd always been in the same pool as the Americans. Quarters for the first time, and again the U.S. standing in their way. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Julian. 1-0-2 from Miller. Just barely stays alive. Canada's deepest run ever, down to its last 2 outs. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Edouard Julien. Two balls and 2 strikes. Otto Lopez, that's the top of Canada's order. Making Miller work in the 9th inning. He sets, he throws, he strikes him out. 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Bottom of the zone, another firm fastball.
And since the pass ball on Cal Raleigh put him at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out in the 7th inning, 8 in a row retired by American pitching. Strike on Otto Lopez. And a week that went from dark to saying grazie, Team Italy, to a new lease on life, and they were just so fired up to play a game and move on. Move on from the drama of the week. Now a strike away from moving on in the tournament. Bullet dodged and ticket punched to the semifinal. With a little help from Italy, they get into the knockout round, and then they beat Canada 5-3 and get ready for an absolute madhouse. Sunday night, United States, Dominican Republic, 8 o'clock from Miami.
That is must-see TV.
Paul Skeens against an all-star lineup. Luis Severino counters an all-star lineup of Americans. Logan Webb in this one, 4 2/3. He does exactly what Mark DeRosa had envisioned when he took over as manager in 2023. Couldn't get him on that club. He gets him in 26, and he is as efficient and reliable as he always is for the San Francisco Giants, and he helps pitch Team USA into the semifinal.